Hello my viewers, welcome back to the channel. By the video title, you know what this video is about. Today we're discussing, of course, some the top receivers the Steelers should go after in free agency. The top receiver free agents the Steelers should probably look to inquire. Not everybody on the list, of course, but it's like some guys who I feel like can help the Steelers bolster up their roster. They most likely will probably draft another one as well. We don't know if they're going to draft one maybe high up or maybe later around like that, depending on who they get in free agency. But here's some guys who I like, from the free agency list that I think could probably help our team. Starting off first, of course, with Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin name been circulating around with the Steelers for a little while over the past month. As you guys know, he's a veteran. He's only 28 years old. He's going to turn 29 a little bit in 3 months, I think. I think 3 months. No. I think in the a little bit. I think before the season started, a little bit right there, around that range. But turned 29. He's a former All-Pro, former multiple-time Pro Bowler as well, Super Bowl champion. Just a veteran out there, and can bring some veteran leadership to the Steelers locker room and to the Steelers receiving room as well. Because the receiver core, they cannot be looking up to George Pickens. George Pickens is a cool player and all, but he cannot be the guy who's the veteran of the locker room, teaching the new guys to come in and stuff, and being the person to set the tone. We need somebody else there as well. So getting a guy like Chris Godwin, a guy who's willing to block, a guy who's a team first type player, team first type receiver, going out there making plays for you, can play in the slot, can play on the outside as well, physical as well, would be great. I know he came off an injury, of course. He had the ACL injury they had. He was playing pretty good early on before the injury happened to him. Look at some of his numbers. Of course, he had, I think, 576 yards, before the injury happened and stuff, and he missed the rest of the season with the ACL tear. But I think he'll be back in the way, the way sports is nowadays. With ACL injuries and Achilles, they heal up faster now. Like, that's different now too, of course. So I think you get a guy like Chris Godwin back in the mix to your roster. You add a guy like that to your team, it can help bolster your roster up a lot, especially if you have George Pickens still there with the Chris Godwin, and then maybe you draft a guy later rounds with Calvin Austin, Roman Wilson as your 5 guys, a young core of guys with a veteran presence as well could help. And you probably could maybe, if you didn't want to draft a guy, you just want to go with Chris Godwin, you probably can go a different route and add another guy in as well. Which leads me to my other guy on the list too as well, which is Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton, I can see the Steelers probably making the deal. Maybe you get Chris Godwin and Darius Slayton with George Pickens and Calvin Austin. You might have to draft a guy, Roman Wilson. You see how he looks too as well. That'd be your 5 right there, and you see what happens. Skoranek, I think you got to keep him around too. He did a pretty good job on special teams as well, so he probably be around as well. But I like Darius Slayton. He has potential as well to be a nice piece. I was still going to trade for him early in the season, but they decided to not trade for him. They trade for Mike Williams instead. Darius Slayton has a deep threat ability. He's a route runner. I think he's 27 years old. He has some speed to him, explosiveness. He had 100 yards against us as well. We played the Giants early this year. So I think getting a guy like that added to the roster will just bolster out your roster even more and add more depth. So I wouldn't mind us getting a Chris Godwin and then maybe bringing Darius Slayton in as well. If I can get him on a 2-year deal, maybe get Chris Godwin in on a 3-year deal as well like that and see what happens. You got to spend some money. The Steelers have been playing too cheap on the offensive side of the football. The cheapest offense in football, the most expensive defense in football. It's time to switch it up. The defensive route is not working too much anymore. So the Steelers go out there and add some pieces, spend some money on offense. I think you can go out there and get multiple receivers if you want to go that route. Another guy too's on the list is Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper will be a free agent as well. I like Amari Cooper. He's a good route runner. He's going to be there on time. He's 30 years old. He's very productive as well still. I think he'll be a nice addition for anybody like that, any quarterback we get, especially Justin Fields. Having a guy who's a consistent route runner like that, who can get, like when you say, hey, when you go 5 and you break right here, he's going to be there in that spot. He's going to be there. Amari Cooper is a route specialist like that. He's a very good player. I know he's a little older now as well, but I think he's a nice player still very productive, and you add him to the mix would be good. Now he kind of would be like a lesser. I would have kind of Chris Godwin, maybe Darius Slayton a little higher to maybe add to the team right then and there. He'd probably be a person to have less on the list a little bit because sometimes the injury concern a little bit. Chris Godwin, same thing, but I feel like Chris Godwin got a little more upside than Amari Cooper, being a little younger than him as well. So I think they kind of be my top targets right there. But I wouldn't mind, of course, Amari Cooper on the team as well. The Steelers could do that and get it done and see what happens. Other dark horse picks for me is, of course, Stefon Diggs. He's a free agent now. I say dark horse pick, so don't go crazy in the comment section. Like, Stefon Diggs, yeah, I know Stefon Diggs, sometimes can get a little, the antics like that, like having 2 GPs like that. Stefon Diggs is very productive though. I know he came off an ACL injury, but he's a very productive receiver. He go out there and make plays, of course. He's consistent, explosive playmaker on the outside. Having a guy like that getting open, making plays will help out a lot. Elite level receiver, you know, all-pro multiple times with the Bills, of course, elite level type guy. I think the Texans will probably bring him back, but if he doesn't come back, maybe the Steelers offer him some money. You never know what could happen like that in that sense. He's probably looking for a bigger, a contract, probably a long-term contract, especially coming off that injury as well, to maybe secure some stuff. It might be less because the injury did happen, but he'd still be some big money there for him. So we'll see what happens with that. And last but not least, the last dark horse pick, of course, is T. Higgins. T. Higgins would be a nice addition to the team, but the Steelers would not be able to pay T. Higgins and George Pickens. So if you was to get T. Higgins, I know that some people said the rumors and reports said the Steelers are still kind of uncertain with George Pickens' future with the team. So you was to pay T. Higgins like a big contract, you might have to trade GP away. Trade GP away for maybe a second round. You can get a first, that'd be great. Second round pick, and you see what else will happen right there, because you won't be able to pay T. Higgins the big money. Then you got to pay George Pickens a big contract as well, like a 4-year, $100 million deal or something like that. You won't be able to pay both guys like that, you know. So you have to make a decision, be like, okay, I'm gonna pay this guy, pay that guy. I know our offense is still a little cheap, but who am I gonna pay like that? So the Steelers will probably have to make a move and switch some things around. Now, not paying a quarterback might, because I think our quarterback position is kind of free up right now. So we have no quarterbacks on the roster, so we have to see if Justin Fields come back with us. It'll probably be a 2-year deal most likely, so it might be cheap. So you might be able to pay both guys maybe like that. Now I'm thinking about it, because Pickens will get his contract probably extension maybe this offseason. They want to keep him for a long run, or maybe they wait till next year after the season. They probably do it during the before the season start. And then you look at T. Higgins, you get that big contract to him. You ain't got to pay a quarterback big money yet. You might could do it early on like that and bolster your roster. That's why I still feel like the Steelers are kind of being like cheap. Kind of like you don't have to pay a quarterback big time money yet. So you should be able to bolster your roster up. So when any quarterback step in that position, they have all the weapons they need. Receivers, you know, the O-line, everything. O-line I think is pretty good overall in a sense. When everybody healthy, when you get Trevor back, they finally moving Bradley Jones to his rightful spot to the left side as well. So that should be good as well. You add maybe some more pieces in the middle. McCormick did a good job. See Amalo get a little older. Maybe draft another guard, add another guard to the mix like that. Frazier did a good job. So you have everybody healthy. The O-line probably good. We'll see if the Steelers want to bring back James Daniels or not. But the Steelers have money to go out there and add pieces. You can add dynamic pieces for your backfield, you know, and your receiver core as well. Add playmakers like that to help your team and bolster your roster up. So I don't know why they're just sitting around not doing it like that. You spend your money on defense, and the defense thing is cool and all. You always work early on in the season, but at the end of the season, when the injuries start happening, you know, you start to make plays on offense, and we just never seem to have the firing power. So I feel like the Steelers got to spend some money. So we'll see what happens. The top guys I want, really, I think Chris Godwin and Darius Slayton. Getting those two individuals right there, adding those two guys right there, I think will be big time for the Steelers. You add those two pieces, and then you maybe you see what, of course, you bring George Pickens back. And then you have, of course, Calvin Austin. So that'd be a 4 right there. You have George Pickens, Chris Godwin, Darius Slayton, and Calvin Austin. And then you have Roman Wilson as well as the 5th guy, maybe work himself up to as well to see what happens. But that'd be a nice little addition, I think. You sign Darius Slayton to maybe a 2-year deal, maybe a 1-2-year deal like that. Probably a 2-year deal, see how things go. Sign Chris Godwin as well. Just bolster your receiver core up to get open the offense up a lot more. And your running backs, we'll see exactly what happened with that too. If Najee coming back, or if you're going after somebody else. And Aaron Jones will be a free agent. You know, he's very explosive as well. Look, he has some injuries sometimes too as well like that, but he's an explosive player too. But you probably can find a guy similar in a draft like that, kind of play his play style as well. I like for us to keep Najee Harris and then draft the guy like that. I keep Najee Harris, I let Warren go, and I draft the guy like that in the draft to like kind of have that 1-2 punch like that, and eventually that guy draft maybe emerge as the guy like that too as well. Especially you got a versatile piece, you know, Austin Eckler type backs. I love running backs like that. You know, I love the power backs too, of course, like the Derrick Henry types, the Najees and stuff like that. It's very good too. But I love the Austin Eckler type backs. You know, the ones like Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, those type of backs who are like can be slot receivers, who can be put in any position out there and make plays like that. It is an extra extension to your pass game out there in a sense. So that'd be great to have as well. But those are the top receivers I have on my team. I have for the Steelers to pick, maybe in free agency: Chris Godwin, Mark Cooper, Darius Slayton, Stefon Diggs, T. Higgins. Let me know down below who you like on that list, and who you want to, if it's now on the list right here I have somebody who you like as well, like in free agency the Steelers should go after, or maybe a guy the Steelers should trade for maybe. So let me know down below. I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Peace out.